Joining me is the newsmaker of today, Milind Deora. No longer a congressman, but today a Shiv Sainik, Milind Deora, joining me live on the Newshour. Thank you, Milind Deora. And 2004, I think, was the first time you walked into Lok Sabha. And we all met you at that time, we as young reporters, and you as the first time parliamentarian. Rahul Gandhi, Milind Deora, Jyotiraditya Scindia, Jiten Prasad, Sachin Pilot. I think that was the group that you had. Today, I think most of you, other than Sachin Pilot, are out of the Congress. Why is that happening, Milind?
Firstly, thank you for having me on your show, and I'm glad to be able to finally speak to you without being reprimanded for doing so. Secondly, Navika, it's obviously a very, very emotional day. In many ways, I still find it hard to get over the fact that I have resigned from a party that my family had helped build and helped sustain for the last 55 years. My father joined this party in 1968 as a young man who had studied had gone as an exchange student to the United States, had American parents who he lived with, managed to get a scholarship to study at Syracuse University in New York, and came back and was motivated by Indiraji's politics, and became a municipal corporator from Mumbai at the age of in the year 68, and went on to become Mumbai's youngest mayor in the year 1976. And truth be told, when I entered politics in 2004, of course, the Congress was a very different party in 2004 than when it was in 1968. But the change that has happened in the party from 2004 to 2024 has been momentous, to say the least. I don't know why some of my colleagues felt compelled to leave, but what I can say is that for the last 10 years, during the Congress's most challenging decade, when the party fell to 44 seats in 2014 to 50 plus seats in 2019 out of a 545 member Lok Sabha, even then I didn't leave the Congress. I stayed loyal to the Congress. I did whatever was asked of me. I performed my duty willingly, sincerely. When I organized Rahul Gandhi's programs to the United States and overseas in 2018, before the last Lok Sabha election, people came to me and said that this was a fundamental change in the way he was being perceived. When I was appointed president of the Mumbai Congress, literally on the eve of the Lok Sabha elections last time, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before, and then I was asked to resign, although I had no role to play in the party's success or defeat. I willingly resigned from the post and accepted accountability. And I felt, and I always believed, that if I can accept accountability, even though I had no role to play in the party's loss or defeat, I have every right to demand accountability from the party and from the leadership. And there are many issues that have happened, but I think that fundamentally what I believe is the Congress of 2004, when I joined, almost seems unrecognizable to me 20 years later. And my politics is always constructive, it's development oriented, it's about getting things done, it's about raising my voice for the people of Mumbai, cutting across all communities, all economic strata, bringing investments to Mumbai, Maharashtra, focusing on a constructive agenda for India. Unfortunately, my party, my erstwhile party, the scope and the space for constructive criticism, for constructive debate has shrunk tremendously in the last 20 years that I've been in the party, and therefore I was compelled to take this very hard decision.
Why do you think the space for debate and constructive debate has shrunk? Who's responsible for that space shrinking? Is it because Mrs. Sonia Gandhi is no longer hands-on? Is Rahul Gandhi failing to do so? Why do you say this? Because you were a colleague of Rahul Gandhi, same age, same time entry. Could you not speak with him directly?
No, look, these are things which now I don't want to get into an analysis of what went wrong with my relationship with the Congress. I've moved on and that's that. I haven't said anything, made a personal attack against anybody. But the truth is that I think this is something which the country has seen. It's not, you don't have to take my word for it, is the fact that, you know, this young group of people who were promising, who were articulate, who were bright, who had a positive opinion about the country, wanted to indulge in constructive politics. I think we suddenly found a space that has shrunk for that kind of politics. And if you were criticizing the Prime Minister, if you were opposing anything the Prime Minister said, even if it had merit, you were rewarded. If you were indulging in sycophancy, you were rewarded. If you were indulging in constructive criticism, to be honest, that kind of automatically meant you would be disqualified and you would be reprimanded, you would be punished. And that seemed to be the sort of the culture. Every organization has a culture, every political organization, every business organization. Times Now has a different culture from its competitors. And I think the culture in our organization is what I find unrecognizable today. If you are seen as someone who is going out to do something constructive, you're cutting across the aisle, you're working with other groups, then there's a serious problem. If you're talking about the economic reforms that the Congress ushered 30 years ago, which have benefited the common person of India, you're considered you're punished in the party. If you attack industrialists, you're rewarded. If you offer constructive suggestions that are good for the country, you welcome an initiative that the Prime Minister has propagated or implemented, you are punished. If you criticize it blindly, you are rewarded. That is something which unfortunately is not the politics I believe in, and that's why I thought for 10 long years, I sacrificed my career during the best, most productive years of my life. From the age of 37 to 47 today, I stayed loyal to the Congress with no power, just with the belief that the Congress will improve. The Congress will enable people like me who want to do something constructive for this country. But unfortunately, I didn't see that changing at all. In fact, I correct myself. I saw that changing only for the worse, not for the better.
Milind, what you say, and we all remember your father, Milind Deora. I remember in our days in Parliament, most parliamentarians across the aisle used to call him uncle. Whatever happened, everybody was talking to each other. Of course, those days no longer exist in Parliament. People don't even go for the inauguration of the new Parliament when it is created, a historic moment. But what is that one thing that finally tipped the scales as far as you are concerned? Because it is Rahul Gandhi who's often come out and said that there is no democracy. Democracy is in danger in this country, not because of him, but because of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He's the one who said that the BJP is the intolerant party.
There's democracy in the Congress, but the truth is if you speak your mind, and if that speaking of mind is not conducive with the leader's interest, you automatically get punished, you automatically get sidelined. Not for a month, not for a week, not for 2 months, but for years at a time. I've experienced that, I've dealt with that. It's been extremely painful for me. It's been extremely painful for my family, not once, several times, just for giving a constructive suggestion, for welcoming an initiative of the Prime Minister. And these theories, for example, of blaming someone for your own failures, blaming the Prime Minister that there's no democracy, blaming the EVM for your defeats. These are simply excuses for your own failures. Today, when I said earlier to you that Congress is lost, what I mean by that is very simply, if you look at what is happening today in the opposition space, you look at the I.N.D.I.A alliance that's taking shape. Look at the kind of partners that Congress is dealing with. Frankly, it doesn't shock me, it just baffles my mind, because if you asked me, would the Congress party and Shiv Sena ever come together? Two parties which were poles apart, two parties which had hatred for each other, a lack of respect for each other. Even today I know what the Congress party feels about the UBT faction of the Shiv Sena. I know exactly how they feel about them. I know exactly what they think about them in terms of being a reliable or unreliable partner. And the Congress is going out and trying to have a seat-sharing alliance with them. UBT faction is talking about ideology. They're both talking about democracy being under threat. All of these things, unfortunately, are just excuses. If, for example, say UBT. UBT also says in Marathi, they say, Narendra Modi ji hukum shah hai, means he's a dictator. If he's a dictator, according to them, why did they support him in 2014? Why did they support his candidature for Prime Minister in 2019? So this kind of hypocrisy of blaming the EVM machine, blaming the Prime Minister, blaming tomorrow the Indian voter, blaming North India, blaming South India, blaming this community, blaming that community, but not willing to accept accountability for where the party is headed. This, unfortunately, is a classic trait of certain I.N.D.I.A partners. And these things pain congressmen, I can tell you, not just me. They pain loyal congressmen and women who believe that the party has lost its way.
But Milind, when you speak of ideology, your critics are going to turn around and say that very rich of you, Milind Deora, you are going and joining the Shiv Sena's Shinde faction. Where is any commonality of ideology between what you followed for the last 20 years and what the Shiv Sena stands for today? How are you going to respond to them? Because you, in your earlier statements, have called the Shiv Sena an extremely communal party. Today, you are a Shiv Sainik. How does that sit?
Well, firstly, let me answer that question. Firstly, under Eknath Shinde is fundamentally different from the Shiv Sena of his predecessor. There is a fundamental difference, and I can sit down with you separately and have a long discussion about how it's different. How they begin their speech, the kind of people today who are welcomed in the party with me, the communities they represent, the ideology that they have for the city of Mumbai, the people they represent in the city of Mumbai. There are fundamental differences in the ideology. And so for me, Navika, my ideology, and this is something which is very critical to make very clear, ideology has to be, and loyalty has to be first to your city, to your constituents, to your state, and to the people of your country. Party has to come second. And today I say this, I'm in a new party, but that will remain my ideology even here. The people of Mumbai, the people of Maharashtra, the people of India will come before party. That has always been my ideology. And when the ideology is reversed, where you have to be loyal to only the party, and even if it comes at the cost of being loyal to the people of India, to the people of Maharashtra, to the people of Mumbai, then I'm sorry, I cannot accept that ideology. So there are two fundamental differences, number one, between Eknath Shindeji's Shiv Sena and the Shiv Sena of his predecessor. Number two, as I said, he has given me the freedom to say, I want you to work for Mumbai. I want you to use this as a platform to work for Maharashtra. I want you to use this as a platform to work to strengthen the Prime Minister's hands for the people of India. That is a platform which I've been wanting for the last 10 years. And that is the core of my ideology. And you spoke about my father, my late father. That is the core of his ideology. His ideology put the people of the nation before the party. And unfortunately, that's another area where the Congress has lost its way. The Congress encouraged that earlier. The Congress encouraged people like my father, it encouraged people like me to put nation before the party. Unfortunately, the way the party is moving today, it only allows you and it disallows you from putting nation and people before the party. And that is something which is unacceptable to me.
Why did you choose today to exit from the Congress party? The day when Rahul Gandhi launched part 2 of his Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra from Manipur. Many congressmen have come out, and you must have seen the comments, not very charitable, about the timing of your exit. They also say that probably this is a conspiracy hatched by the Prime Minister because he's nervous of what the Congress might end up doing at the end of this Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra.
Well, I know the rule book of the Congress party, so I know that everything that happens against the Congress party, you blame it on the Prime Minister. That's the rule book. So I would take that with a pinch of salt. But to be very honest with you, there was no plan to leave the Congress and join another party on the day that Rahul Gandhi is embarking on this yatra. For the Congress party who may not be aware, and at least the people in Maharashtra should be, tomorrow is a day called Makar Sankranti, which is a very holy, auspicious day, especially in Maharashtrian culture. And it's a day of new beginnings. People register properties when they buy a home. People buy cars on the 14th of January, on the 15th of January. So unfortunately, the Congress doesn't understand which day is auspicious, and therefore they will try to link it to their own yatra. So I would take these things with a pinch of salt. I don't want to give them that sort of give them that importance that they think I did it to coincide with this yatra. And I have a lot of friends, Navika, who made statements publicly. Naturally, I understand they had to criticize me. They've all sent me private messages congratulating me. Some of them have said some things far more praiseworthy for me, for the Prime Minister, for the leader, for my leader now, Eknath Shinde ji. So let's leave that aside. There are some friendships which transcend party lines. And there are some people in the Congress party who are happy for me. There are some people in the Congress party who know what I went through. There are some people in the Congress party, despite being there, despite perhaps tweeting against me, despite perhaps making statements against me, I know exactly how they feel. And it's a matter of time, if the Congress does not introspect and the Congress does not change its face, that they will be out too.
Did you try and meet Sonia Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi or Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge before you finally decided to call it quits? Yes or no?
Yes.
Did you meet them?
Some of them, I couldn't meet the others.
You met Mallikarjun Kharge but couldn't get to the Gandhis? Is that what you're saying?
Some understood the gravity of the situation, others didn't. Some met me, others didn't.
And
I thought this was a rapid fire round.
And so it's the next question. The next question is, did you get to speak to Sonia Gandhi given the relationship between your family and hers?
I tried, but I was unable to.
There was an earlier occasion when you did want to leave, but she dissuaded you. True or false?
Well, I wouldn't say I wanted to leave. There was a time and join another party. There was a time when I wanted to leave politics, and she did dissuade me, yes.
Do you think the Congress party's rejection of the invitation to attend the Pran Pratishtha?
Me to have gone.
What next for Milind Deora? Minister in Maharashtra, or are you looking towards a Lok Sabha seat and working in the parliament?
Well, hopefully I'll be, to me, what I do where I am is less relevant, Navika, than whether I have the ability and I'm empowered to serve the people of Mumbai and to work for the betterment of India, and whether I'm encouraged to be in a constructive environment. That is what is of primary importance to me, and I believe that this system will allow me to do that.
I believe 20 leaders of traditional markets.
Sorry to come back again. I've survived without post or power for 10 years. Power and post is not the reason I made this decision. I made this decision because I want to work constructively. That is why I made this decision. I can survive for another 10 years without power and post. I did this because I believe in Eknath Shinde ji's leadership. I believe in the Prime Minister's leadership and vision for the country, and I want to contribute to strengthening the hands.
Okay, my last question to you, Milind. Rahul Gandhi versus Narendra Modi. What are the differences?
Well, let me just say this. Politically, the differences are before the people of India. The people of India have already voted in 2014. They voted in 2019. And I'm sure in 2024, they will cast their votes in favor of the Prime Minister's leadership.
Have you spoken with the Prime Minister? Was there an element of an invitation for you from Modi?
No, I have not spoken to him, and as I said, I'm part of the I.N.D.A fold now, Navika, so I'm part of the same team, and I look forward to meeting the Honorable Prime Minister, to working under his leadership through Eknath Shindeji's Shiv Sena, as I said, for the betterment of Mumbai, Maharashtra and India. I'm really looking forward to that. I believe very strongly in his leadership. I believe very strongly in his vision. And I think he has brought great success to India in the last 10 years. He's done some things which are unimaginable for this country. And I would appeal to the opposition as a parting note, that you may have a problem with the Prime Minister from a political point of view, but when there is something good happening, support that. Perhaps the people will reward you for it.
Well, on that note, thank you very much, and all the very best to you, Milind. We've been together.
So much, Navika. I look forward to speaking to you again more often.